is that for us, we didn't see any problem with these Indians. Because these Indians, for us, were farmers of cows and goats and sheep and crops. And these Indians were bringing what we did not have and taking what we had. We would sell them milk, sell them bananas, sell them skins and hides, sell them grains, foods. Then they would bring sugar for us. They bring salt for the cows and for the people. They bring paraffin. They bring textiles. Our relationship with these people was symbiotic. They were helping us, we were helping them. And therefore, we could not be part of, we didn't see how these people were exploiting us, like Idi Amin was saying, because they were doing what we were not doing, and we were doing what they were not doing. Now, in the Buganda area, because of the mistakes of the British, there was some little tug of war between the Africans in the Buganda area with some of the Asians, because the colonial government had stopped the Africans from ginning cotton and herding coffee. And there was some agitation around that in 1945, 1949, and then that blockage of the African was removed. But otherwise, in all the other areas, the relationship was symbiotic. Therefore, when Idi Amin, and this is why you need to be very careful, because Idi Amin is a boy who, we need to know his background. Maybe Anita can tell us his background. I don't think Idi Amin was part of the wealth creation group. I think he was an urban type person. I don't think he was a farmer. I don't think he was a cattle keeper. We need to. I suspect he was part of this, what we call muyaaye now, people who are not part of the wealth creation. And that's why he was looking at the Asians as a problem. For us, we had no problem at all with these people, because they were actually helping us. Where were they getting these things? They were getting them from very far. Textiles, what? Bringing them, and we were giving them what we had. So therefore, what I want you to know, and this is only the case here, even in other parts of the world, you get all those problems created by really parasites who are not part of the wealth creation, but who want to harvest where they did not sow. So when we came into government, we found some Africans, and some of them were in the parliament. We had a parliament called NRC, National Resistance Council. And some of our members were sitting in Indian shops. I told these people, get out of those shops. Because it is immoral, it is also not strategic. Because it is immoral, because why do you take somebody's property? Why? Why do you take it? Why don't you create your own property? Why don't you create your own? Who has stopped you? Imagine these properties they were talking about, 8,000 of them, in the whole of Uganda. Now, I told these people, you must return the property of the Indians, because that property is Kisirani. It's bad luck for you if you sit in a property which is not yours. Give it back. But secondly, it was not strategic. My question to them was, how can you call new investors? You new investors, you come. Uganda is good for you. When the old investors are crying that you stole their property, how will you do that? How would anybody believe you? So these people could now see that what they were doing was actually suicide for them, for these African countries. And I can even say one of the reasons why the African countries sort of stagnated, for instance, compared to Singapore, to Malaysia, to Indonesia, because at independence, some of the African countries, like Uganda and Ghana, were much richer than, for instance, Singapore. But why did Singapore come up and these African countries stagnated? It was because of this bad attitude to the non-indigenous investors. So therefore, I told our people that if you want to be credible, to attract new investments, you must give back these properties. But thirdly, it's not necessary. Why do you have to be in an Indian shop? Like these Indians of Ntungamo, they were just there in 1 acre, more or less. For us, we had the whole county. These were just here in the trading center. Why would I have a whole farm in my village of a square mile, and I am now envious for these decimal points of this Indian in the trading center? It is really madness. Why do you care about this property? Why don't you develop yours? So when we defeated their line of reasoning, and we gave back the properties, 8,000 of them, in the whole of Uganda, imagine. Today, between Entebbe and Wakiso and Kampala, if you count the properties of the Africans, you are talking of 2 million, not 2 million properties of the Africans in just the Kampala and Entebbe area only. Yeah. So really, this is a very big mistake of how people can get lost. So therefore, when we give back these properties, the reasons, as I've said, were three. First of all, it is immoral. Secondly, not strategic. But thirdly, totally unnecessary. We don't need, I'm very glad none of my children has ever been in an Indian property. to get Exran from there, to get bad luck from there. Because they should have their own properties.